Co-Deputy Director of Speaker Research and Curation, who shall be my co-host for today. I would like to welcome you all to the third session of the Alumni Lecture Series. We have on board with us today Mr. Abhinav Ravi, the Senior Executive of Restructuring Services International at Deloitte Global FA. Thank you for taking out some of your precious time for conducting this webinar, sir.
Yes, and before we start, I would just introduce our esteemed principal, Dr. Pooja Ramchandani ma'am, who has been a constant pillar of support and guidance for all of us. She always tries her best to motivate us so that we at HR College push our boundaries and achieve excellence even out of this college. And due to some last minute commitment, she could not join us. But if she joins us in the middle, we will definitely interact with her. And I would also take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Naveen Punjabi, who is leading as the Vice Principal of HR College and also the Professor in charge of Entrepreneurship and Incubation Cell. We who know him, he is a super enthusiastic person. He's supportive and an enterprising person who always motivates us to give our best and set high benchmarks and achieve new heights. And I guess, yeah, he could not also join us today.
I would also take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Amit Nandu, who is leading the Alumni Committee of HR College. Amit sir is also the Associate Professor in the Department of Accountancy. His regular insights and information regarding our alumni have led us stay connected and associated with them for future collaborations. Even he couldn't join us due to some prior commitments.
Yes, I would not take a lot of time. I'll just introduce our today's speaker, the Senior Executive of Restructuring Services International at at Deloitte Global FA, Mr. Abhinav Ravi. Mr. Abhinav Ravi is also one of the founding members of RS Advisory Team at DJIV, which provides restructuring solutions on live business cases. Yes, you heard it right. He has also been a recipient of uh, Green Dot Award at Deloitte, All Rounder and General Leadership Awards by HR College. Mr. Abhinav, you have proved to be an excellent achiever and a leader who has made his mark in this corporate world. And I would like to request Mr. Abhinav to take over this session and guide us by shedding light on today's topic, entrepreneurship as a habit. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aditi. Thank you guys for the introduction. That's really kind of you. I'm super excited to be here. This is the first time I've sort of, even though it's in an online scenario, it's the first time I've come back and spoken or been part of an event with college, which is something I've always wanted to do since I graduated. So right from the get-go, okay, I'm going to be very frank about this. Uh, I'm a little bit of a weird choice for this speaker series, and this is something I even spoke about with the members of the ECL because I don't exactly have a significant track record of entrepreneurship in the traditional sense. So if you look at some of the earlier guests they had in the last couple of weeks, they are maybe sort of more of what you expect in that category. Uh, but I still believe I have the reason I wanted to do this, and I'm really excited to do this. Is I had some perspectives, some ideas, which I think are slightly different from a lot of what's being said around, and I wanted to share that. So before I get into sort of the content I have ready, just a few requests from my end. If most of you guys who are attending, whether that's participants, committee members, those of you who are comfortable, if you can turn on your cameras just so I can see a few more faces, that will be lovely. Because looking at my own face gets a little weird after a point. And also, throughout the session, I'll try to ask as many questions as I can and keep it a bit interactive. If it's a yes no type of question where I'm just trying to get a vibe, then just type out your answers in the chat box. However, there will be a few places where it would be really great if some of you guys could unmute yourself and give us more detailed answers or perspectives, and we can have a discussion around that rather than me just talking the whole time. Another thing, because of sort of the way I typically present or speak, is I have sort of four main categories or headings which I'm talking about. And I've tried my best to sort of interlink them and make them make sense. But it is going to be very spontaneous, very to the point, which is why, again, I would love your contributions just so we can make this more of a discussion. That being said, I'm going to start this off in the most cliched way possible by asking you guys, how would you define entrepreneurship? You can unmute yourself and speak. You could type it out in the chat. Just something. I just want to get some responses going uh, before we take this ahead. Guys, anyone, please? If you're not comfortable speaking, the chat is fine as well. Just what do you mean by entrepreneurship? What does it mean to you? Okay, Josiah said building a brand. That's great. Anyone else? Okay, I'll just give it a few more seconds in case anyone. All right, that's cool. But I think typically what I've heard and kind of what Josiah has written as well is entrepreneurship is very often just seen as a parallel with business, right? Starting खुद का startup होना चाहिए, company होना चाहिए, you're a founder, CEO, all of that flashy stuff, right? That is true. I'm not denying that. Okay. So, and again, some of the speakers you've had in the last couple of weeks are people who are doing exactly that. So one of them has a company which has now been established for a long time. Last week's session with Priyanshi, she's just started her new venture herself. And even if right now you went online and you typed entrepreneurship into Google and you look for the definition, you'll get all of these things, you know, starting a business, finding a solution and monetizing it, all great. For me, I went back to the basics, which is Wikipedia. And Wikipedia has this lovely line which says entrepreneurship is about creating value. And as simplistic as that is the definition that I identify with when it comes to entrepreneurship. I don't think it means you have to have your own established company or business even. It's more of a mindset and an attitude. And what does that attitude really contain is what I'm trying to cover today. And you know, I sat down when I was preparing for this session. I don't know if you can see, I have about 8-10 pages worth of notes I wrote down last night, just trying to come up with the best ideas I could. And what I realized was, you know, rather than being generic about, you know, work hard, be honest, all that stuff, which you see a lot of, I thought possibly the most effective way to communicate what I wanted to is to just share my own experiences from the last 5 or 6 years, what I've learned from that, what I've unlearned from that, and how that shaped me into the person I am today. And hopefully some of those things will be relatable for you guys and you'll get some insights. So I've divided this into 4 main categories. The first category I'm going to talk about is money, because everyone has to talk about it. The second category I'm going to talk about is habits and things I like to do on a repeated basis, which add a lot of value to my life, which I think are important. The third thing from Shaunak, yes, that is a Goku wallpaper in my background. You are correct. He just mentioned that in the chat. Yeah, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan as well. Sorry, coming back to the topic. The third thing I want to talk about.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir, but your voice is a bit low.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We can't hear you properly.
Just give me a second. I'll just try this without my mic and just let me know if that's better. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, let me just. Yeah, can you guys hear me better now?
Yes, we can.
That feels a lot better as well. Okay. The third thing I was talking about is personality and the definition of success in my books. And finally, the fourth thing I want to talk about is passions. Okay. So first thing I want to talk about, like I said, is money. Just give me a second, please. I have a lot of notes. Yeah. And when I talk about money, especially in our country, but throughout the world even, one of the primary problems our generation has is that in India, we have a very failed relationship with money. And what I mean by that is we are scared of understanding money on a base level. We do not understand what it entails. We do not understand how to use it. We are not taught about savings. We are not taught about investments. And because of that, we, in a way, even though we all want money and we want to earn money, in its own way, we are fearful of money. And there are a couple of very obvious ways in which that is exhibited, which I'm sure all of you can relate to. The first and foremost one is secrecy. In your own life, now all of you guys are still in college, so you're not earning per se yet. But even if you look at the generation before yours, your parents, etc., how often do people honestly disclose how much money they make? Okay, let me rephrase. In the chat,
how many of you know how much your friends' parents make? मतलब idea होगा, you know, based on their clothes, car, whatever. But have you ever had conversations about money with your friends in terms of earnings and savings? Can you just let me know in the chat, yes or no? Okay, no. Oh, guys, also, I noticed a few people are messaging me privately. Just put it on all, just so everyone gets a vibe of what we're doing in case you're doing that. But yeah, already there's about 5 or 6 people who replied and everyone said no. And again, that comes from a fear of, and almost a jealousy that comes with money, right? Because, and I can't even blame anyone for that. I'm not blaming education system or parents. It's just because of, if you've studied Indian history post-independence and the position that India was in financially and economically at the time of independence and everything that's happened since, we are the first generation that genuinely has a chance as a whole to be economically stable. Even our parents' generation did not have that. And because of that, that secrecy and that fear of money comes in. Another simple example to make the same point, right, is everyone knows about Ambanis and Tatas, right? Two of the biggest names in our country. Correct me if I'm wrong again. Just say yes if you agree with me, no if you don't. It's fine either way. Typically in society, you know, now both of these men and both of these brands have done more for India than possibly anyone else. The amount of employment they have created, profit they have generated, lives they have built is incredible. लेकिन तब भी in society as a whole, do you not have that thing that Ambani's का वो थोड़ा, people have that, हाँ, he's थोड़ा rich and spoiled kind of a vibe, but Tata's is, you know, the best, you know, they're the दूध में धुले, whatever that muhavra is, you know, they're the perfect kind of guys. Is that not the impression you have? Yes or no? Just let me know. Yes. Cool. Again, guys, please don't agree with me just for the heck of it. Agar you think what I'm saying is crap, let me know in the comments. Okay, I want this to be a discussion. But if you're agreeing with me to an extent, and the reason for that is it comes from our own flaws. Both of those men have worked very hard to earn and to build their brands. Are they perfect? Of course not. Sabne galtiyan ki hai. But the reason we prefer Tata in our mind is because he lives like a poor man. He lives like a middle class person. Chota gaadi chalata hai. He doesn't have a 50-store bungalow. He doesn't spend whatever 500 crore on his family's weddings. We are not jealous of their wealth. We are jealous of them showing it, and that again comes from our own history of insecurities. And that is a problem. Okay, that's a problem for us at our age as well, because you guys are just going to start earning money. Some of you might have done internships jahan naam ke liye kuch mila hoga. Even entry-level jobs when I joined, it's not like I'm making a lot, but it's still a very different feeling to have a fixed amount come into your bank every month, right? And that happens to you for the first time when you're 21 years old and you have no idea kya karna hai, because you've never experienced it, you've never talked about it, and you have no idea what's happening with you. So I just have a few tips related to money, which I have learned the hard way or the easy way over the last couple of years since I started working, which hopefully you guys can start to implement when you start earning as well. And I think it'll help you a lot. Number one is talk about money. Talk to your friends who are your peers, ideally in the same company or even other companies, doesn't matter. Because there's not a lot of sense even talking to some guy who's 20 years older than you and asking, what do I do with my salary? Because what you make in a year is what he makes in 3 weeks, probably. Right. So the proportion of advice you're going to get is not going to be great. But if you talk and you share knowledge with your friends at your own income level, that massively increases your awareness. I've started investing in the stock market and mutual funds in the last 8 months because I talked to my friends who've been doing it since college. And I've already seen the results and I'm very happy. Right now, 50% of my salary automatically goes into investments, like as soon as it comes into my account. That's not something I would have ever thought of 2 years ago. But if you guys know the concept of compound interest, if you start investing at 20 as opposed to 30, it can be easily a 10 to 12 year difference in your retirement age just by investing early. And you don't have to put in lakhs and crores. You put in 5,000 a month, and that is more than enough to set you on your way. So talk about money, talk to your friends, and gain the knowledge whenever you can. Secondly, identify, once you start working, what is the money value of your time. Now, I'm sure you guys might have heard the concept of time value of money, economics, financial management. Are you guys familiar with it? Discounting for time and all of that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So time value of money is an economic concept. Does anyone know what money value of time is? It's not an official phrase, but just sunke, is there any logical thing you can think of what it means? Anyone?
So maybe what we should be paid for every hour we spend.
Exactly, Saurabh. Not what you should be paid, but kind of what is your time worth? The easiest way to calculate that when you're in a salaried job is what is your monthly income divided by 30 divided by 8. That gives you your hourly rate if you want to think of it that way. And it's very important to know that once you start working, because every decision you take in your free time, right, to upskill yourself or to look for a new job or anything, it has to fit hand in hand with the money value of time. For example, and I'm not going to use actual numbers because I'll get the math wrong, but if you calculate your money value of time, right, and you estimate that if you spend 500 hours, or that's a lot, if you spend 100 hours, you can learn a new skill which will take you to a new job, all right? And so you're spending 100 hours, so you're spending 100 hours times that money value is what you're sacrificing to get that skill or to get that new job. And therefore, if that new job, it exceeds your money value of time by what you're investing, then it makes sense. You should go for it. But if you're spending 100 hours and that amount of effort and that amount of money, you have to start thinking about time and hours of your day in terms of money. And the end result is less or at par with what you're doing. Those are the decisions that start to add up about, is it really worth doing what you're planning to do? So knowing the money value of your time once you start working is incredibly important. So that's something, again, just to be conscious about. Third, and this is something that's become incredibly relevant in the last 6 months with COVID and the pandemic, is, as I'm sure everyone knows, millions and millions of people have lost their jobs across countries, across industries, everywhere. I personally, within Deloitte, work with people in Canada and the UK who've been laid off, which was very sad for me because these are guys I've been working with for a couple of years now. And what that's brought into the light is none of us can really afford to only have one source of income anymore. Okay. So if you're in the position where you have your own business, your own company, you're a traditional entrepreneur in that sense, great, then you're self-sustaining. But even if you're an employed worker, you're working in a company like I am, you have to start to generate new ideas for income just for that safety net. That is the most important thing, irrespective of your age, your income level at your job. Because even if you're making like 50 lakh a year, whatever it is, if you're laid off, that cannot go down to zero. You need to have income coming in from somewhere else and savings coming in from somewhere else to give you a buffer to be able to live your life at least at a mediocre level till you can find a new job. In my own case, again, approximately 6 months ago, there was in India an MBA and master's education consultant. I'm sure you're familiar with how they work. And I had reached out to him because I was applying to a few programs. So I just want to talk to him, get an idea of how his services work, etc. And I had a nice chat with him. I ended up not working with him just because I wanted to take a break and do some other things. 1 month later, I was thinking about this. I have a little extra time on my hand now that I'm at home. So I just randomly sent out a mail to him. I'm like, hey, we had spoken a month ago. I am so-and-so, la, la, la. I have some extra time. I know you just started your company 6 months ago. I want to do something new. Do you think you have a job for me? That's it, randomly. This is a guy I've spoken to once in my life. He replied to me, hey, love the way you reach out. Sure, we can use a lot of help. 2 days later, I had a call with him. 4 days later, I was working with him. And it's been about 6 months now that I've been working. So with him, I mostly work on marketing and content. So I write articles for him. And I can't tell you this, okay? I obviously don't get paid much because it's a small firm. He's just starting out and I'm doing a small role. But that satisfaction, jab wo first 1,000 rupees ka invoice I got, was greater than any salary Deloitte has ever paid me. Because with Deloitte, it's still sort of, a big company, they're obliged to play. But this is something I knew nothing about. I took a chance. I just randomly reached out to someone. I created a job which did not exist. Right? I got on a call with him. I'm like, acha, I think wo theek nahi hai, wahan par main thoda help kar sakta hoon. We worked out, we found a role for me, we made it happen. And it's not freedom, but the level of liberation that gives you when you're able to create something of your own, it's something else. So, and in today's world with the internet, I refuse to believe that concept ki, nay, I can't do anything on my own to create income. You can freelance for a million different things. You can teach your skills, whatever that may be. There can be hard skills, soft skills, instruments, dance, coding, whatever it is. White hat पे join कर लो as a teacher. क्यों नहीं? बहुत पैसा है उनके पास. And the gig economy is taking place. That's happening already. There's no stopping it. And more as the years go by, you're not going to have anyone, in my opinion, with just one income stream. So the earlier you hop on to the train and you get your skills, you establish yourself in the market of whatever skills you're trying to use, the better you'll obviously be. So that's another really important thing about money is no matter how fantastic a job you have, how much you love your job, always have something else on the side. Both from a monetary perspective, right? Even when I'm stuck on my laptop and I'm working for Deloitte, kabhi I'm lazy, right? I'll be like, theek hai na, I'll do it at 8, 9, 10 in the night. It doesn't really matter. But nowadays I'm like, oh wait, I have to write that article, submit it by 10, let me finish my work at 6, make time for that. So your procrastination goes for a complete toss when you have other things to work towards, and that is the best feeling in the world. So start exploring your skills. If you think you don't have the skills, get them. Everything can be learned today. And identify what your niche is, which you can then monetize in the years to come. What else do I have? Okay, just a couple of technical points on the money before I wrap up this part. Is understand how foreign exchange works, because global economy, globalization, 1991, you've been hearing it in economics textbooks since you were in school. And again, it is so much easier today because you can access clients across the globe. To give you a simple example, the articles I currently write for the guy I work with, I get paid 500 per article. Exact same amount of effort and time. If I write for a guy in the UK, I get paid £50, which is about 10 times as much. Quality is the same, effort is the same, everything is the same. That's just the next step, which I should reach in 3 months from now in my estimate. So they keep saying dollar ke against India, ka rupee is falling, and that's terrible. It really is. But if it's terrible, take advantage of it. Na? I mean, kyun nahi? You have to be a little creative. That way you have to find the advantages in the bad situations and use foreign exchange to your benefit. A fantastic book to read if you want to start freelancing, you want to start your own business, even on a small scale. You don't have to make the next Apple or Facebook. Is a book called The 4-Hour Workweek. I have it right here. It's a fantastic book. It tells you everything you need to know about monetizing your business, going from idea to execution. I strongly recommend it. I have quite a few book and movie and TV shows and Netflix recommendations, which I'll send across to the organizers. Josia, if you guys could just forward it across, baad mein, that'd be great.
Sure. We'll do that.
Because obviously yaad nahi rahega when I'm showing all this stuff right now. But yeah, just remember Forex plays a big part. The name of the book is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. It's a very famous book. And like I said, I'll send the list across to everyone in a little while. So yeah, that's pretty much the part I had on money. First segment, 15 minutes, not bad. Any questions so far? I know we have a Q&A at the end, but if you guys have any questions till now, any observations, comments, if you think something I said was complete rubbish, let me know. Discussion is always great. In the chat, unmute anything at all. Could I please write? I'll write the name of the book as well, if people are asking. Okay, Shaunak has said, I'm sorry if you sent this earlier and I missed it. He said, we don't know our friends' parents' income, even if we were in the US. I think what you're trying to say is that it's not an Indian problem and it's a global problem. Is that right, Shaunak? Yeah. So again, I completely agree. It is a global problem, absolutely. It's just that I think हमारे देश में we're still a little more conservative. Secrecy वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा है. And I say this purely from experience because I've had the honor and the pleasure of working with people in the other countries over the last 2 years. And typically, I have found that they are more open about most things in life as compared to us. Also, I'm sorry, there's a bit of construction work. If that noise is coming, I apologize. So yeah, if there's... is it a problem? Not cool. So if there's no further questions on the money part, I will move ahead. Is that cool? There are many skills. There's a question from Pooja. Available for us, newbie, we don't know how and where to invest in Learn. Okay, first thing, Pooja, please don't call me sir. I've said this a few times. I'm 22 years old, bachcha hu main. Please, I don't need to be called sir at all. I think when it comes to skills you want to learn, the great part about that in today's world is there's a lot of free resources available. So often, if you really want to get into a skill, you have to pay for it. So because that's just organized information and organized learning, so you have paid online courses and classes and so on. But there's more than enough free information available on YouTube, on Google, just those two sources. Not even Google, just on YouTube, on any topic in the world imaginable, for you to at least get a base level understanding. After you get that base level understanding, you know whether maza aa raha hai ki nahi, do you think this is something you can do in the long term? If the answer is no, great, let it go, look at something else. If the answer is yes, you're still pumped up about it, then you can choose to make in a monetary investment to learn it, to specialize in it, and to then monetize it to your own end. Pitching services to foreign clients, how to get better at cold emailing. There's really no specific skill. This might be a little disappointing to hear if you wanted a magic solution. The secret to anything in life, skill, getting better at it, is trial and error. There is nothing else in the world. आपको जितने books पढ़ने हैं, जितने courses करने हैं, you can do it. Till you get out and do it, you're not going to get better. So if you talk about cold emailing, that's something I've done a lot of. To give you an example, right? I'm currently applying for a few jobs. Don't tell anyone. I have on LinkedIn reached out to approximately 45 people in the last 2 months. One guy has replied to me. Chalta hai. You can't. If you get offended, the first person who doesn't reply to you or doesn't give you a job, oh no, no one likes me, you're not going to get far. You have to adapt, improvise, overcome. There's that meme format, but it's true. Just think about the language you use. Did you say something wrong? Is there something you could have done better? Did you give the right image of yourself? Always something you can refine. Talk to people who've done it. Now, I've done it a bit. I can probably talk to you separately about it. It'll take a lot of time if I get started on that now. But talk to people. There's always going to be people willing to share information. Sejal has suggested to try Varsity app if you want to know about stock markets and free certification course. So for everyone, thank you, Sejal, if you want to get into stock markets and investing. Cool. I'm conscious it's getting late. I'm just going to quickly move forward to my second topic, if I can find it, which is habits. Okay. So there's 3 habits I want to talk about. They're not exactly habits, they're just things I like to do on a regular basis, which have added tremendous value to my life. Some of you may agree or disagree, but I think if you follow these and if you do these things, they add a lot to your life. I'll just quickly, I don't have a PowerPoint, but I just have a few photographs I want to show you guys. So I'll just present my screen if that's okay. Just let me know once it's up, if it's up. There should be a slide with photos of a lot of books on there.
Yes, we can see that.
This was about 70% of my book collection in, I think, June of this year. My mom was yelling at me that we have too many books, khali karo. So I khali karo, this is what came out. I didn't count, but as you can see, it's a lot. And the point I'm trying to get to through that is I read a lot. I've been reading since as long as I can remember. When I was in school, 6th, 7th, 8th standard, everyone wanted video games and shit. I just wanted books. I would go to Crossword and Landmark, wo zamane mein hote the. And I would just sit there for my mom would drop me at the mall at 11 in the morning when it would open. I would sit there till 6. I had $100 for McDonald's beach mein ek baar jane ke liye. And I would just finish entire books sitting in Crossword. Can I see the chat when I'm presenting? I don't know. I'm sorry. If someone's writing something in the chat, I'll just look at it in a bit. So the point I'm trying to get to anyway, is reading is one of the greatest habits of my life. It has helped me in so many aspects, in terms of knowledge, in terms of creativity, in terms of understanding people, in terms of language. I would like to say I have a pretty good command over the English language, and the reason is because I've read since I was a kid. I've not gone to any fancy classes. My English teachers kuch khas nahi the. I've just read and watched movies and all of that stuff. If you're not a fan of physically reading because whatever reasons, thankfully technology and Amazon happened. You now have Audible with almost, I think, every book available. I still love paperbacks. I prefer that over Kindle or audiobooks, but if that's not your piece, please go for the Kindle or an audiobook. And there's also this increasing trend I've seen nowadays about people reading more of non-fiction. And that's fine. I read a lot of non-fiction myself. 4-Hour Work Week is a non-fiction book, and it teaches you about business, life, habits, and that's great. You should read it. But I also very, very strongly recommend reading fiction because I think the knowledge and perspectives you get about people as a whole from reading fiction is unmatched. I am 22 years old. I've read easily 200 plus books in my life. Nothing has ever impacted me as much as reading Harry Potter. I have read Harry Potter since I was about 7 years old. I finished the series. The last book came out when I was 11, I think. And I have reread the books at least 15 to 20 times ever since. I have, which one is this? This is Half-Blood Prince, which is the 6th one I have right here, which is one of my favorite books as a whole. And you know the whole thing about what kind of person should you be in, like how do you treat others, what does friendship and loyalty and all of those things. So आजकल लोग बात नहीं करते, but dude, it's still pretty damn important. Okay, you learn it from society, you learn it from teachers, but I learned it from Harry Potter more than anything else. So if you're somehow part of that weird group who's never read Harry Potter, I feel bad for you. It's still not too late. Please do it. Movies be theek thaak hai, but please read the books. They're much better. A few other books I just have, and I'll send this in the list as well. I've just taken out a few of my favorites. So you had 4-Hour Work Week, you have Harry Potter. Just in the non-fiction space, since we're talking about entrepreneurship, if you want to start your own business, one of the best books you can ever read is called The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. It was a groundbreaking book that came out a few years back and it's been quoted by most successful entrepreneurs in the world since. Speaking about focus and doing work well, there's another fantastic book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. Again, I'll send you the name. Don't worry about noting it down. But it's a fantastic book about how to focus and do meaningful work in a world that's so full of distractions. And finally, because fiction is the best and I love superheroes, this is Batman: The Long Halloween, which is possibly the greatest comic book ever written. And if you think that comic books are just something for kids, they're really not. The art is fantastic, the writing is fantastic, and reading just really adds a lot to your life. Just to show you a few more photos about how ridiculous my book collection is. When I was searching for these books and I couldn't find a few, and I did this like 5 minutes before the call started, I was looking through my bookshelf, but the problem is मेरे घर में bookshelf एक नहीं है. So these are some of the many places I was looking for my books. So there's a cupboard I have, the bookshelf in my room, the bookshelf in my sister's room, another cupboard we have. And yeah, it's difficult. There's literally 3 more books I wanted to show, but I couldn't because I couldn't find them under all the mess. But I'll still send the names across to you guys in a bit. So yeah, I can finally see chats. I'm sorry. Okay, okay, I think people just a little shocked at the number of books I have. That's fine. Cool. So yeah, read as much as you can. It's a lovely activity. You have time. In the survey I sent out, which thank you again, 55 odd people submitted answers to that survey, which I was very surprised by. A lot of you mentioned in the what will you do when you retire? Reading was one of the things a lot of people mentioned. So, ठीक है, retirement के बाद भी करो, but even now just try to make out time before bed. Replace your Netflix with a couple of books when you can, and you'll thank me for it. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about, and this was one of the most mentioned things in the survey, again, when I talked about what are the things you're afraid of doing, was public speaking. I don't know if that is true, or क्योंकि मैंने bracket में लिखा था, सबने बोला हाँ ये लिख देते हैं, अच्छा लग रहा है. I don't know which of the two it was. But I know public speaking is a fear a lot of people have, whether that's on a stage or doing something like this, or even in a meeting, you know, in student bodies, वगैरह. If I can, and I have a few notes and I'll get to that in a second, anyone on that survey who filled out public speaking as a fear or whatever, can any of you please unmute yourself and tell me what part of it scares you? I know I'm literally asking you to do what scares you. Just one line, just your name and what part of it scares you or you're not sure about.
Hello, sir. Yeah, actually, I guess I missed that form, but one thing which I fear is going wrong while speaking, or maybe what the audience will think of me when I go blank. So that's what one thing I feel. Because now talking to you, and I'm thinking twice in my mind as to what I'm speaking. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think, okay, now to give you a little bit of background about my public speaking experience, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं formally. I wrote about this on LinkedIn recently. The first time I ever spoke on a mic was in school when I was in 11th. It was Independence Day or something. I had 5 lines to speak. I had a book with all 5 lines written. मैं ऐसे पढ़ सकता था. And I messed it up so bad I can't even get into it. Just 5 lines. Okay, mic kharab hua. I said hello, check. I spoke the wrong word. Horrible. Uske baad se, in the last 5 years, I've spoken at every situation imaginable. In school, in college, at work. I've presented to some ridiculously senior people at Deloitte. In January of this year, I presented to global CEOs of the company, which I can't even start to count how many designations above me they are. But the point is, I was like this. The concept of fear of public speaking has left me a long time ago. And the way I got to that was 2 things. Number one, like I said, trial and error. You can watch as many public speaking motivational speeches as you want till you get out there and talk in front of people. That is not going to change. And it is a skill you will need irrespective of what field you're going into. Not necessarily presenting, but just putting your opinions forward in front of people. Because if you're that guy or that girl who's fantastic at their work in their laptop the whole time, but you can't express, you're going to hit roadblocks along the way. I can guarantee you that. I have seen it in my own career. And picking up on what Saurav said, and yeah, I'm just reading. One mistake, people will judge you. 100 people seeing you is scary. Fear of being judged. That's the key word right there, okay? Fear. Okay, and agar मैं oversimplify करूँ, which is what I'm doing, it is basically people will laugh at me. Is that not the overriding emotion? Whether at that time या घर जाके उसने वो किया था, it's basically people will laugh at me. And I've had that too when I started out, of course. And the simplest solution I found to that, and I cannot tell you how well it works for me in life, forget public speaking, is you have to learn to laugh at yourself. If you cannot have a sense of humor about yourself, I'm sorry, but you're going to be miserable in your life one way or the other. अगर आप offend हो जाओगे जब कोई आपके बारे में मजाक करे, that's the thing, you won't have friends, you can't get along with people, you'll take everything personally, and that rigidity will cause you problems in life. You've noticed I've been talking for half an hour. How many times have I criticized myself? I can do it for an hour. I can roast myself for an hour and I will laugh the most. I'm not saying deprecate yourself or don't value yourself. That's different. But if you have a sense of humor about yourself and that you convey that when you're speaking, सामने वाला तुम पे हंसना is not great. That is in fact appreciation, because suddenly you're a stand-up comic. So getting them to laugh is like, oh yeah, I'm working. I'm getting the vibe of the room. So for me, if I'm speaking ever at a crowd, and that's one of the reasons I wanted your cameras on, because even though I'm not laughing, I can see a couple of people grin. If I'm ever speaking and everyone's like, oh wow, and they're blank, I panic. I'm like, oh no, I'm bombing. But if I see people laughing, some people are introvert, ambivert. I am the biggest introvert you will ever meet. Lagta nahi hai, I know, meri fatti hai. I have the highest level of social anxiety you will ever know. But I'm going to give you a couple of perspectives on being an introvert in this and my next point, which I think you'll agree with. Number one, being an introvert is you worry about what people will think, samne wala kya kahega. It's along those lines very often. And that becomes more relevant when you're talking with one person. So, okay, I can see 3 people. I can see Ishika on the chat in front of me, right? Let's say I don't know Ishika, I'm speaking to her for the first time, one-on-one. I am hyper conscious. This happens with me. Oh, what am I saying? How does my hair look? Am I saying something right? Am I standing too close? You're so conscious because this is a person you're having a conversation with and you're building a relation and an understanding with. So you're hyperactive. When you're talking to 100 people or how many ever, you're like, inko to janta nahi ho na. You're addressing a body. You're not addressing an individual person. So in a way, that's how I think. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm talking to Ishika and Aditi and Saurav and whoever else. I'm talking to log. वो सब हंसे तो अच्छा है, सब रोए तो ठीक है. I'll have to come up with something. So it really helps to think of your entire audience as one, rather than, oh, that's my friend, that's my classmate, that's my whoever. Okay. Another last point about public speaking, language is a concern a lot of people have. You have control, especially over the English language. Look, first of all, speaking in English is not a sign of intelligence. I know I'm speaking in English through most of this because that's our medium, bagera, but it's not, and it helps. I'm not denying being fluent in English helps you in your career and your life, but ऐसी बात नहीं है कि आप हिंदी में बात नहीं कर सकते. If you're confident in Hindi, what happens, right? If you're fluent in Hindi and you're not fluent in English and you're scared of public speaking, If you go to a public speaking place where you have to only talk in English, that's double the anxiety. So find situations where you can talk to groups of people in the language you're comfortable with. Get rid of the group part of it. ठीक है, फिर 100,000 लोग कुछ भी है वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व, ठीक है, फिर अभी अंग्रेजी का प्रॉब्लम आता है, and you can tackle that separately. Don't try to hit all your fears together. It will overload you and then you'll panic and all the horrible things happen. Identify your problems, address them one at a time, and from there you will grow. Don't try to, if you've never spoken in public before, don't address 6,000 people. Start with 5, then go to 10, go to 100, go to 500. And that is the only natural progression where you won't feel overwhelmed the whole time. That's public speaking done. I'm taking a lot of time. I don't think I'll finish my stuff. But fine, the third habit, which is not really a habit I want to talk about, is traveling. Another lovely thing I saw in the retirement question I asked, a lot of people want to travel some of the specified places, some say world tour, Europe tour, whatever. Also, I have a genuine question, okay? I got 55 responses to my survey. The first question is, what is your dream travel trip? Something along those lines. 46 of you said Manali. इतना कौन मनाली जा रहा है and क्यों? Like, if there was I expected variety. If there was a standardized answer, I would have expected Goa, पास में है. Everyone is Manali, and मैं मनाली गया नहीं हूँ. I'm sure it's nice, priority, you're right, Shaunak. But ठीक है, अच्छा होगा, but बाकी देश भी खराब नहीं है. I mean, Goa is nice, man. I like Goa. Anyway, that's not the point I'm trying to make. Traveling is arguably my favorite thing on earth. And I just want to take you through a few trips I've had recently and a couple of stuff around that. I'll just present my screen very quickly again. Just let me know once it's up, please.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
we can see it.
First, this is a screenshot, literally 1-2 घंटे पहले, whatever, 12:50 को, I was scrolling through Facebook memories and this came up for me, which was so appropriate. It's a quote I love by Mark Twain, very famous writer, where he says, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. And it is so true because for me, I differentiate between tourism and travel. So agar aap, I'm trying to think of a place. If you come to Bombay, you see Gateway, you see Marine Drive, you see CST, you get my point, a couple of those other things, Juhu, Vagera, Bandra, whatever, Bandra mein kuch to hota hoga. And you go back home, that's tourism, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing or condemning it. If you come to Bombay and you have CST ke bahar ka Aram Vada Pav, you travel in the local train, you get bhigoed in the rain properly, like at least ankle level water, minimum qualification, I would say. If you come in that, you speak to locals, you have misal pav and some dhaba, that is travel for me. Right? It's because travel for me is equally about the people as much as it is about the place, right? And one of the reasons travel is so dear to me is, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but you see so much, differentiation and hatred and la in the world, in India, everywhere. And मुझे आज तक concept समझा नहीं है सबका. I just don't get it. And for people who do get it, or maybe who think along those lines, I so strongly recommend to travel to other cities, other countries, travel to places where they do not speak your language. It is the most eye-opening experience you will ever have in your life because you realize how small and insignificant you are. Tum Bombay mein, you can have the most successful job, fancy car, whatever. You're like, yeah, I rule this land. Go to a country where they don't speak your language and you are so powerless in a second. And if that is not the most sort of, that gives you humility and a level playing field, I really don't know what is. To share a few experiences I have personally had. So last year in October of 2019, I went for a solo trip for the first time in my life, which is something I wanted to do since forever. And for my solo trip, I could have gone to, I don't know, Mahabaleshwar or Bahar Jana Tha to Singapore, something safe and logical. But because I'm neither, I went to Iceland, which is a place I have wanted to go my whole life. It's the most beautiful place on earth. I'm sorry, there's no comparison. I just have a few photos I'll share because photos are better than anything I'm saying. I'll just minimize this because I think it's visible. So these are a couple of photos from the capital city of Reykjavik, which is where I was saying, which is located. It's obviously an island nation, so it's around water through most of it. What you can see there is their most famous church, which is at the end of this ramped road. Iceland is very famous for some incredible waterfalls. These are two of the most famous ones. I cannot pronounce the name, so I'm not going to try. If you want to see how big this is in terms of scale, just look at the tiny people here. It's the sheer volume is incredible. Another thing I love about traveling is going to tiny cafes and restaurants, mostly run by families. This was one of my favorite ones, who had the best hot chocolate and croissants I had ever had in my life. Iceland is also famous for something, the black sand beaches. I do not know the science about how it happens, but it does, and it is incredibly beautiful when you stand there. This is one of the beaches I visited. What else? And also it has a lot of glacial locations. So this is one of those which I went on a boat tour for. And finally, I apologize for the horrific picture quality, but you also sometimes get to see the Northern Lights, which I was very fortunate to see literally the night before I left. And the whole week I was there, it was raining. And when it rains, you normally can't see it. But somehow on that last day, even though बारिश हो रहा था, कुछ तो करके थोड़ा बहुत निकल के आया था. And again, as something you've only seen in movies and photographs for all your life, it was an experience unlike any other. And just to show you another photo, and I'll talk about both of these trips in a bit. If you're like, बहुत दूर है, बहुत महंगा है, and I'm going to talk about the money aspect as well. Domestic travel is just as beautiful. We are so fortunate to live in a country like India. This is a trip, even though you can't see our faces, which I took last January. This is in Jaisalmer. So we went to Jaisalmer, Jaipur, and Udaipur. So it was me and 5 of my closest friends from school. So these are guys I've known for like 15 years of my life. And again, if you get the opportunity to ever travel with your closest friends from school or college, I so strongly endorse it because the friendship and the bonds you've obviously built through all the years, that 1 week or however long you spend, it will be one of the most incredible times of your life. And you will never regret spending time on that. Some people asked me, which country, Shaunak? That was Iceland, like I mentioned. Mariam has said black sand is because of lava. You are correct. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Clearly, I should do more research. But so when it comes to travel, and I'm just going to address some bahanas I have heard for why people don't travel as much. Okay. Number one, most important is travel is expensive. It is. There is no two ways around it. But it does not have to be as expensive as you think. To give you an example, if you spend time on research, and there is so much information available out there, my entire Iceland holiday, flights, stay, ghumna, firna combined, cost less than what another friend of mine who went a few months later, her flight ticket cost more than my entire trip. Just because I spent 3 months planning. Okay. So if you spend the right amount of time and plan, no trip is too expensive. I know there are costs involved, of course, flights, etc. But there's always a cheaper option available. I stayed in a hostel instead of a fancy hotel. Again, one of the most amazing experiences, sharing a room with 6 other people. The day I landed and I entered my room, there was a girl there from Brazil. And again, India, Brazil, Iceland, mein mil rahe, never met, and we had a conversation for an hour and a half as soon as we met. And it seems like that just blow your mind and open you up to so many new perspectives that stay with you for years to come. Again, coming back to the money side of things, for the hostel, I paid 800 rupees a night to stay. And Reykjavik is 200% more expensive than Mumbai. And I still paid 800 bucks a night to stay there. So you can imagine how much cheaper my accommodation was than, staying in a hotel, for example. So travel can be expensive sometimes, yeah, but it's really worth it, number one, and there's cheaper options. So for me, I spent a good chunk of my own money on this trip as opposed to my parents because I wanted to, I just felt right. And I spent about, I think 2.5 to 3 months ka salary on this trip on the whole. That might sound like a lot. But if you think tum 40 saal kaam karne wale ho, and the first year of working is when your income is at the lowest. So uska 3 mahine ka, if I'm spending that on a week that's going to last with me for my lifetime, that is phenomenal investment in my opinion. That's not a waste of money by any stretch of the exaggeration. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a fancy place. I know Iceland is a little fancier and far away. India, mein, Maharashtra, mein, for heaven's sake, there's so many beautiful places you can go. So just go talk to people as much as you can, even if you're an introvert. Another thing I said, right? Like for me, I'm nervous when I speak to a new colleague for the first time. Because if I make a bad impression, agla 3 saal iske side pe baithna. When I'm traveling and I meet someone in a cafe and I talk, mera kya ja raha hai? If they think I'm the biggest idiot in the world, I'm never going to see them again. that level of freedom it's empowering, and you only get that when you travel. What else do I have? Yeah. So again, like I said, travel is a phenomenal thing. I strongly encourage you to do it. However you can. I'm not going to say sirf Europe jao ya sirf yahan par jao. Go wherever you want. Go alone. Go with your friends. Go with your family. There's no rules really. But just remember that the people of the place you go to are as much a part of the experience as the place itself. That's the one thing I've learned. I've been to Vietnam 2 years before that, and again, Vietnam has a city called Hanoi. Some of you might know, and Vietnam is a place where they do not speak English. Just nahi hota hai. I survived for 3 days on sign language and Google Translate, and despite that, Hanoi is possibly my favorite city I've ever been to. You have London, Barcelona, some fancy places. Hey, mujhe bhi pasand hai. But if there's one city I want to live in for at least 2 years in my 20s, it's Hanoi, just because of how comforting it was, the smiles of the people, and just it felt like home, even though I couldn't understand a word they were saying. And you will never know what that's like till you step foot in those places. So yeah, travel a lot, bottom line. Cool. So I'm done with the second part of my thing, which is habits. Any questions, thoughts, opinions? Anyone wants to share anywhere they've been, any experiences they've had? I'm just looking through my notes. So in the next minute or so, if anyone wants to just unmute and speak, please feel free. What am I talking about? Cool. Guys, I'm sorry, just to confirm, any of the organizers, do I have to be 5 or 5:30? Because I'm just conscious I have a fair bit of stuff to cover, so I'll just cut things out if it's fine.
Till 5:30.
Okay, cool. I'll still try to wrap up as soon as I can in case people want to ask questions and stuff.
Yeah.
So थोड़ी चीजें मैं cut करने वाला हूँ. Okay. The third thing, I guess we won't talk all that, is personality and success. Okay. And I'm going to be quick about this. No matter what you're doing, what field you're in, college, work, whatever it is, you can be good at things, you can be bad at things, you can be qualified, underqualified, senior, junior. I think the one thing that is non-negotiable for me from the very start, again, I give credit to Harry Potter, is being a decent person to the people around you. Okay. And I don't think that gets talked about enough. I think most people are nice by nature. But the rewards I have seen of being decent and being kind have been so huge in my own life that empowers me, that gives me motivation to want to be that, to go out of my way to be nicer to people. I just want to share a few anecdotes which have happened with me, which are so special. So when I was in college, I don't know if this was mentioned at the start, I was a part of the Students' Council, the student body. So I was the editorial assistant in my second year. I was the senior joint secretary in my final year, and then I left. So the year after I graduated, so my juniors, when they became TYs, and they have, the FY orientation ceremony that happens in KC Audi. That is typically when the Students' Council core committee gets inducted formally. So it's announced privately to the council a few days earlier, but you come on stage, there's music, you get your badge from the principal. It's a lovely feeling. I'm very honored to have had that feeling twice in my life. And it was happening to my juniors, and these are some of my closest friends who I've spent 2 years with. And I had started my job. So they called me the day before and they're like, "Kal orientation hai, you're coming. I do not care, chutti lo, jo karna karo, you're coming to the orientation." And I had just joined. I was 1 month into my job. Thankfully, my manager is very nice. So I told him, I'll just come to office 2 hours early at 7 o'clock and I'll just leave for 2 hours beach. I just want to go to college. He's like, haan, cool. So I reach college, I enter KC, I come to KC Audi. Those of you know, you have the big doors to enter the auditorium. And bahar, you have these 2 FI students standing, blazer penke, who are Students' Council members, which is exactly where I had been 3 years earlier. And I was obviously just wearing my office clothes. They don't know me because they joined after I left college. And they were like, they thought I was a parent or something. I don't know if I look that old. But they were like, "Sorry, sir, no, the ceremony is going on. We can't let you go in." And I was almost laughing because I was like, "Hi, wo din the jab main bhi ye sab kehta tha." And I get how seriously you take it when you're in FI, right? No, if I let these people in, they'll fire me or something like that. So I just started laughing and I was about to explain to them, "Hi guys, I was a member last year, come to see my juniors, vagera." Even before I did, there was one of the office PMs who was there, Bhagwan Das ji. who used to work on the 5th floor when I was in college. I don't know if he still does. And he was there. And मैंने कुछ बोला भी नहीं. And due to my work with the council, I spent so much time with these guys, all of the office stuff. And before I even said anything, Bhagwan ji came and he looked at us and was like, क्या कर रहे हो आप लोग? इनका ही तो ceremony है, जाने दो. Because he recognized me from the 3 years I had spent. And for me, that was worth it. You know, I gave up my summer vacations for the council. I kind of flunked my CA inter for the council. And sometimes I might have had regrets, but you know, when I had moments like that, again, I went back a year later and you had Taudeji who sits in the entrance lobby. He's like, Abhinav, kaise ho? Kya chal raha hai? Kaam waam kya hai? And I'm like, that's worth it, man. I mean, and it's not like मैंने उनको कुछ gift दिया था. You know, it was just basic human decency and conversations I had with those people. And these are people who see thousands of students every day. So for them to remember my face and my name after I've left college, I'm feeling it even now. You know, that was a level of happiness that I've felt very few times in my life. Another simple example, more recently in my life, is for my work. So in my job, I work directly with the Deloitte team in London. And I work with like 15, 20 people out there. And I have recently been trying to see if I can get a permanent transfer to the London office. It's something I've wanted. It's a bit of a long shot because visa and all of those things nahi hota normally. So all I did, because my boss was supporting me, he said, reach out to the people you work with normally and just ask them, are they hiring right now? Because a lot of companies have a no hiring policy right now because of COVID and everything. So I sent a simple email to 4 guys, 2 managers, 2 assistant directors, which are very senior people, just to be clear, in the London office. And my email was, hi guys, this is my situation. This is what I want to do. Do you know if our team is hiring? That was all I asked them. I didn't ask them for help. I didn't ask them for a referral, nothing. All 4 of them replied to me within the next day and said, that's a fantastic idea. Yes, we're hiring. Let's get on a call. What can I do to help you? Just let me know and I'll talk to whoever you want to make it happen. And it was at that moment I realized that response I got from them wasn't just a result of I'm good with what I do on Excel. Of course, my work had to be up to the standard for them to approve. But it's because I have spoken and I've had calls and conversations and I've laughed with these people whose face I've never seen, who live in a different continent. But just that basic human decency again has created a relationship between colleagues that went beyond work. I know now whether or not I get that transfer, if I ever fly down to London or they ever fly down there, I can go and meet them as friends. And again, that's genuinely one of the best feelings in the world. You're always going to be friends with your college and school ke classmates. Din mein 10 ghante saath mein rehte ho. It's just, it has to happen. It's practically mathematical. But to be able to create that level of connect with people with whom you have limited conversations and limited relationships just by how you are is a very special feeling. So that's just something I hope you all always keep in mind. Because, you know, external success ho na ho, that's something you'll always be grateful for. Which brings, I'm sorry, Saurav, were you saying something?
Yeah, sorry to cut you. Pooja ma'am is here with us.
Hi, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'll just mute myself if ma'am wants to.
Good evening, ma'am.
I think she's having some network issue. I think she'll address us later on.
Perfect. Ma'am, if you can hear me whenever you want, just let me know. I know ma'am quite well. I don't know if she remembers again because of so many students.
Saurav, unmute.
Yeah, just a second. I'm so sorry. Okay. Hello, ma'am. Good
You know,
evening.
Abhinav, I was listening to him quietly. Why did you all disturb him? The memories that I remember of Saurav, Abhinav, he was taking us through the memory lanes, that how he used to run around in college for council, and it is so good to hear him. And I saw the message of the entrepreneurship cell girl and said, ma'am, please join, the session is on. I said, Abhinav is someone that I have taught, and I can't miss listening to the boy who was very young, who joined us, and today he's working with Deloitte. He's become a big man now. And when I was listening to the thing that he had messaged someone and he got jobs, connected with those people. So I was like, I wanted to write to ECEL and say, please take Abhinav's email. Don't forget to email him when you require for a job. And very, very, very happy to see you, Abhinav, after a long time.
Thank
I
you,
hope
ma'am.
you're doing well. I hope you're doing good in your life. And we feel proud when you give credit of the achievements that you have done to HR College.
Of course, ma'am.
And yes, dear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just saying, again, like I said, I know ma'am well from multiple ways. She taught us, she was the vice principal at the time for BCom. She was involved, she supported council activities. Ma'am, in fact, also wrote a few recommendations for colleges, which is how I got into ISB at the time.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Thank you so much, Beta. And now a responsibility when you've got into industry, that whenever you get an HRI to hire, I think this is under the table deal that you have to hire HRI and support that HRI. Now,
I already have 3 batchmates in my team who've joined after I joined there, who मैंने थोड़ा help किया interview में, so that's
very nice. I think ECEL is the concept that came in this last 2-3 months of HR college that I joined in as principal, where I wanted that, yes, placement cell does a lot of opportunities for students, but we are not creating entrepreneurs. And this is where the whole idea of ECEL came in, and I'm glad the students who are sitting here have taken up this responsibility, and they have promised me that maybe March 2021, they'll give me 10 entrepreneurs.
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Oh, Joshua is around? Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm glad that what vision I gave them to create entrepreneurs is something that they are working on. And I think Deloitte can help us with the people who are interested into newer ideas, investments. And I think Placement Cell can keep in touch with Abhinav.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
Maybe keep a pitch competition and let students put their ideas, put forth. And it is up to the industry to decide that is it worth investing or not. But we would be glad if HR becomes a platform, because we have a name, but we do not have industry connect who can sponsor their projects. So I think this should be my vision. That's what I have given to ECEL. That,
yes, ma'am.
Yes, get good ideas, get connected with industry, so that you can, you never know what idea is good. And until the time idea is explored, all ideas are difficult.
Exactly. It's like one of the things I was saying, ma'am. Like you can read whatever books, listen to webinars. Trial and error is the only proof of concept. Uske pehle, you're not going to know if something will work or not. And if it doesn't, that's fine. That just means, okay, let go and start again. It's as simple as that.
So I would suggest, I will not come between you and my students. So carry on, Abhinav, but good to see you back in college. Of course, online, not offline. I promise you that once offline happens, you are the first ones to visit HR college.
That would be great. I would love that.
And always proud to see council students doing so well in their lives. So
thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yes. So make sure that Deloitte gives us some venture capitalist who can sponsor my ECEL students.
I'll try my best.
I know COVID time it is difficult. People are saving a lot, but I want at least 10 entrepreneurs from ECEL. So I would request my own HRI entrepreneurs and alumni and business people to support these kids, because most of them are SYs and FYs. Some are TYs, but they need mentors from industry who can support them. Of course, we are there, but we can only be a platform to connect to them.
Of course.
And they have to work hard to get that pitch. Core committee of ECEL, please pull up your shoes and make sure that 10 entrepreneurs are out this year. Chalo, take care. And definitely. Over to you, Abhinav dear. Over.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks again so much, ma'am. I mean, I really appreciate that. And I think what this interaction I just had with ma'am is another example of literally what I was just saying, that if you're honest to what you're doing, even if you fail, you make mistakes, that's fine. As long as you're honest to what you're doing, people will be grateful for it. and there's always learning. In fact, you know, there's actually one example I can show. I did not plan for this. Please just give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
I hope you're enjoying the session, kids.
Yes, ma'am. It's very interesting. Really
Yes.
fun.
अगर अच्छा नहीं है तो मेरे जाने के बाद बोलना.
I took a chance to get a feedback for you.
One of the best sessions, sir. Like, the way you started it, so
Very
was
nice.
amazing.
And you know what I remember of Abhinav is a very, very calm person and to the point, जितना जरूरी है उतना काम करके निकल जाएगा. यहाँ वहाँ टाइम पास नहीं, कुछ नहीं, पार्टीज नहीं. I believe पीछे करता होगा तो पता नहीं. But
बस नहीं, सोता भी ज्यादा नहीं था मैम, बट वो ठीक है, वो तो आदत.
and I think you were a very strong support to your secretary of student council. I remember.
Yeah, ma'am. I was.
Right?
So, yeah, that's something I have. Like, it's a whether it's a personal thing, I don't know what I call. I've always been very close to my juniors, and so especially when they were in SY, I was directly involved once I graduated. But I'm still very much in touch with all of them, personally and professionally. And again, that's one of the things I'm very grateful that council gave me. Like, very good friends, of course, but also genuine professional relationships of people who I trust and support whenever I need them. Anyway, sorry. One of the things I was talking about mistakes and all, right? This is a pen. When I was in first year, you know, we have the TI farewell, and I was one of the 3 farewell heads selected to organize the stuff and all. So her saal we give out this memento kind of a thing. So in our year, me and my whatever, we got 2 things. We got a keychain, which was really nice, and this pen. And on the keychain, we engraved our college logo. And on this, we engraved HR College of Commerce and Economics, graduating batch 15-16. We got it under budget. We were very happy, super excited. The night before the farewell, we're on the terrace. We have about 1,000 of these and 1,000 keychains. And we're tying them together with these ribbons. We've tied about 600-700 and someone's just doing it. And she's like, hey, economics ka spelling galat hai. Because I know you can't see it on this, but it says Ecomonics. And we realized this less than 24 hours before we have to distribute this to 1,000 TYs. And I was in F5, so you can imagine hamara kya halat tha. We went back to Crawford. We fought with the guy. We realized hamari galti thi. We got stickers made with the correct spelling, pasted them. They looked horrible because the color didn't match. We removed them. At 1 in the morning, we were like, chhod. Keychains de denge. And the point I'm trying to make from this is, when that happened, when that friend of mine said, hey, spelling galat hai, I thought the world ended. Because I had been given responsibility for the biggest event for F5s and I screwed it up. Like, though our log also screwed it up, but 33.3% I screwed it up. But then we were like, TYs ko pata nahi kya milne wale, unko logega sirf keychain hai. Pen utility, we have used these pens for every event we've organized in the 3-year sense. When you go back to college, go to students' council room, bottom right side cupboard, there's a blue bag with these pens till today. Because we had 1,000 pens, हम क्या करेंगे? हर साल 200 use करते थे. अभी भी 100% होगा. So
it's there, sir.
Yeah, I mean, anyone from here who's there, you've used these pens. If you're in the students' council, probably till 2027, you're going to be using these pens just from the number we ordered. तो ठीक है यार, हो जाता है. It's fine. It's really not the end of the world. Whether that's in college, at work, acknowledge it, learn from it. And that's the thing. After this happened, my attention to detail has increased by 10 times in everything I do. Because मैं office में Excel में काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं कुछ और कर रहा हूँ, I'm like economics. That is in my head the whole time. Because of what it meant at the time. So mistakes are fine. Don't worry about it. Just learn from it. The final thing I want to talk about. Okay, I'm just conscious of the time because I have a few things I wanted to show. Is following your passions and success as a whole. Okay, and this simple point I want to make here is, so if you look at the sign up form the ECL guys gave for these sessions, I saw the form myself and I laughed so much when I looked at that form because the first session I forgot the names, A and B, founder of so and so company, so and so lakhs of revenue in a year, Forbes 30 under 30. Great. Session 2, Priyanshi and the other guy, CA ranker, BCG, so and so, founder of this, founder of that. Great. Abhinav Ravi works at Deloitte, basically. So the the significance of how underqualified I was to be on the speaker series was hilarious. But again, like I mentioned a few times, because I have a sense of humor about myself, I took it as an opportunity. I was like, ठीक है, ये लोग company चला रहे हैं, both of these guys, great for them. If some of you guys want to do that and you're able to do that, fantastic. But even if you don't start the next Apple, Facebook, whatever it is, that's fine. I mean, we have this terrible quantification obsession in our country, not country, in the world, okay, of, success equals size or the scale you do. Simple example, academics. हर जगह आप CA का एग्जाम देखो, लॉ का एग्जाम देखो, ऑल इंडिया रैंक की बात होती है. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm saying the amount of the discredit that does to people who've reached that qualification and don't have a rank is ridiculous. You talk about sports, state level, district level, national level champion. ठीक है, वो बंदा जो वो सब नहीं है, लेकिन वो रोज 4 घंटा practice कर रहा है. You're not giving enough credit for him. You talk about instruments, okay, playing music. You have some Trinity level grade exam, something like that. And okay, I'm not saying to get away with that, but if someone's playing an instrument and they love music, does it really matter अगर certificate है वो justify करने के लिए? So your enjoyment of something does not have to be linked to its quantification or to its recognition. If you talk about even let's take engineering for an example. I know we're all commerce folk. If you imagine conversation between parents and parent A says to friend, he got into IIT Bombay. Typically, when another adult hears that, they'll be like, wow, IIT Bombay brand hai, fantastic, great for him, fantastic achievement. And I agree. कभी कितने बार लोगों ने पूछा है, अच्छा, कौन सा project कर रहा है? What is he doing research in? What is he interested? I have friends in IITB. It's insane what they do. They're making robots, they're making rockets. It's ridiculous, the amazing things they're doing. But the amount of focus that's given at large on those compared to IIT Bombay mein ghus gaya is so unfair. And the point I'm trying to make with all of these examples is your success is not defined by the money you make, the fame you reach, your designation, vagera. I'm not saying those things don't matter. They matter to me. I work with Deloitte. I'm very ambitious. I want to make partner by 35. नहीं होने वाला है, but मुझे करना है. But that alone does not define what I'm happy about. I'll give you a simple example of 2 of my colleagues. And again, both of these guys are friends of mine, so I'm not speaking ill of them. It's just what I've observed. Both of them are around the same age, 28, 29-ish. One of them is an assistant manager. The other is a deputy manager. Deputy manager is more senior. So he technically makes more, he's more important. Vagera. The guy who's AM, he had a son 3 years ago. Okay, really cute kid. The guy who's a deputy manager, he lives in the office. He comes in early, he stays all night. Pata nahi kya karta hai. He works hard. He's a fantastic workaholic, but that's it. He's almost afraid to go home because he has nothing to do at home. He doesn't have those interests, those passions have left him at some level. And I feel very bad because he is a friend. But deputy manager, more senior, more paisa. I look at the other guy, AM, frankly not as ambitious. Career ke hisab se, he doesn't spend as much time in the office, maybe doesn't take as much initiative. But I look at the fun he has with his kid every day when he goes home. Cricket khel raha hai, masti kar raha hai, whatever it is, it's hilarious. He sends us videos. And for me, he's more successful. And I'm not saying that because he's wasting time, but I'm saying as much as having a great career is an indication of success, being a great father or a great mom or a great brother, sister, friend, musician, writer, dancer, those are equally important in your success, even if you're not national number 1 or whatever it may be. I'm just closing out. So I want to close out with a couple of examples on this, which I want to visually show you, right? Before that, actually, I just want to talk. I'm sorry, I know like 50 of you guys filled out the survey and there were some fantastic answers, apart from the Manali obsession as well, which I haven't been able to address. This is one person. Is Moiz Khan, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, on the call? Moiz, if you're here, just let me know. Okay, I'm not sure if he is. That's fine. I just want to read out one little bit of something he said because that's something I resonate with, right? What do you want to do after you retire? The question I had asked in my survey. He says he wants to become a professional football coach, which is lovely. I'm obsessed with football. I love it. And frankly, that's something I want to do. And what is the impossible dream job? He nahi ho sakta wala question. he said he wants to play football for Manchester United. And for me, that was playing for Arsenal. That's the club I support. I've loved them since I was 10 years old. I still do. But I'm nowhere near good enough. I'm a pathetic footballer. But I understand football very well. I love the strategy, the tactical side of things. And the point I'm trying to make is, okay, you start out with that ambition of being at the highest level. If it's music, you want to be Billboard's #1. If it's acting, you want to win your Oscars and Filmfares. If it's sport, you want to play for India or IPL or Manchester United. And if you reach that, fantastic. That's the best case scenario, of course. But if you don't, chalta hai. I mean, for me, when I play sport, okay, I'm not playing at the IPL, but मैं गली में दोस्तों के साथ cricket खेल रहा हूँ. For me, it's just as competitive, it's just as important, and it's just as enjoyable. So don't let the public image or the public success of what you do define your happiness with that. That being said, I just want to, again, I'll present my screen and show you a couple of examples for the point I'm trying to make. Just let me know once you can see my screen. There should be a YouTube tab open somewhere. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Cool. So I'm just going to play you like 1 minute of 2 songs. So this is a song, as it says, called Don't Look Back in Anger. It's one of my favorite songs. One of the most famous songs of all time by a band called Oasis, who were possibly the most iconic band of the 90s and the early 2000s. I just want to play you one clip of a live performance of theirs. I just want you to notice how the crowd sing back. You know, you have 60,000 people singing back to the artist and his reaction to that. I'm just conscious. Do I have to do something different to share sound as well? Or can you guys hear me?
Feel free to join in on the chorus.
Yes, sir.
Can you guys hear that? I'm sorry, can you hear it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
Cool. So I'll just play like a minute of the song and then I'll make the point I was trying to make.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find you said that you'd never be the place that you see slowly fade away. Gonna start a revolution from my said the praise I had went tonight. Stay outside in summertime. Stand up beside the fireplace. Take that look from off your face. You ain't never gonna burn my heart out.
Cool. So that was the original artist performing at one of his concerts, right? And this is the point I'm trying to make. This is a guy who's reached the highest level of his field possible. And again, like I said, if you have the ability and the luck to do that, fantastic, go for it. I don't deny it's the greatest feeling in the world. But my point is, let's take music as an example, and you're not able to hit that high. Does that mean you have to give it up completely and it can never make you happy? The world might tell you yes, but I believe it's no. And just to prove my point, I'm going to now show you same song, okay? It's a random guy with his guitar playing it on the streets with a portable microphone in Amsterdam, okay? Same song. Can you guys see the new screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool. And if it's not audible, just let me know once I play it.
Gonna start a revolution from my head. Said the things I had went to my head. Step outside, summertime. Step outside the fireplace. Take that look from your face. You ain't never gonna burn my heart out.
Cool. So the point I was trying to make with those two things is, if I take music as an example again, all of us want to be the first guy, start our own band, tour the world, be the most famous, vagera, vagera. And again, for me, I play instruments as well. That's what I wanted to be. And now I realize, nahi hone wala. But despite that, if you ask me today, if I have the experience of that second guy, just taking my guitar, standing on a street, singing with 10, 15 people and sharing that joy with them, if that happened with me today, that would be one of the greatest experiences of my life. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you love something, the scale of it does not completely impact how much you enjoy it. If you love to write, you write, whether you're selling 1 billion books or you have 3 readers. If you love to sing, you sing, whether you have 3 views on YouTube or 1 million. To accept, and it took me a very, very long time to accept that. Like for me, I started posting guitar covers on Facebook over the last 3 weeks. After playing the instrument for 5 years, I had never done it. And ऐसा 5, 6, 8 लोग देखते हैं. It's fine. I love the fact that 8 people like what I'm doing and it meant something to them. So don't let the scale of what you're doing or the size of the recognition of what you're doing define the success of what you're doing. That's sort of the crux of what I was getting at. Cool. So Mera Gyan Patna is pretty much done. I'm just looking at the time. I had one last thing I was actually planning to, just to make it a little fun. Do you guys have time for that? It'll take me about 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, we do have.
Perfect. I'm just going to shut my video for a second because I have to get something. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, sorry, I'm unmuted. So hi again. This is the last thing I wanted to do, and I was just conscious. I mean, you guys seem to have kind of liked it, which is great, but I wasn't so confident. So I thought, in case Pura Eghna was quite sad, I would at least end on a positive note. So I just wanted to play you guys something on the guitar, and also with that, share like a small story about how I learned the guitar. I'll just thoda niche karo so you can see it. And this is about learning any skill, any habit, technical, hard, soft, jobi. And it is that learning is not linear. So if you spend 10 weeks getting good at something, you're not going to get equally good after every week. Your first 5 weeks, you will be pathetic. You will not make any progress, seemingly. Suddenly after week 5, you'll become brilliant. Then you'll have 3 bad weeks again. And suddenly after week 10, you'll be phenomenal again. If you look at people with YouTube channels, right, and I follow this, if you see their 1 year growth, they'll have like 1,000, 5,000 subscribers for 7 months. And the last 3 months, they suddenly have like 300,000, some crap like that. So things take time. So to give you an example, when I started learning the guitar, we had to do something called a spider walk, which is AK string ka aise karna. So, and used to sound like this for weeks. Okay, I'm doing it properly now, but utter rubbish. This is all that I was doing for weeks and weeks and weeks, and हर हफ्ता same आवाज आ रहा था. And then suddenly one day magically it's like, okay, थोड़ा आ रहा है. Can you guys hear it by the way? थोड़ा.
Yeah.
And suddenly, okay, you're like, okay, I'm able to do this. Then you're like, okay, I'm able to do this without looking at it. And then out of nowhere, a week later, you're like, and you don't need to. And now it's muscle memory to the point where I can have a conversation with you without looking. And it took me long. The point I'm trying to make is it took me longer to go from to than it did to go from to. So your growth isn't linear. It's not logical even. It makes no sense, and that's why most people give up at the start, because the start is the one place जहाँ growth नहीं दिखने वाला, improvement नहीं दिखने वाला. I gave up on this instrument for 2 years बीच में because I was like, क्या फायदा? 3 गाना तो बजाना आता है after practicing for a year. And then I picked it up again, and in 3 months, the number of things I could play was more than I could do in the 3 years before that. So yeah, that's true for any scale, hard, soft, guitar ho ya Excel ho, whatever else. For example, I can't sing for shit. I'm sorry, language. But I am a terrible singer, which my friends have reminded me of over the years. But I want to improve because I play the instrument and I want to do something along with that. So now I've started. I talked to a friend who's a professional singer. She's teaching me about breath control, whatever. And so yeah, I'll just play you a little something which is one of my favorite songs. I'm not going to sing because then we'll go down from 50 to 3 participants in a minute. Ye teen bichare jo who have to show their face, they will remain, but everyone else won't. So yeah, I'll just do that one song just to finish this off, and then we can take questions if you want. So this is by a band called Mumford & Sons, who are one of my favorite bands of all time. If you don't listen to them, I highly recommend you do because they're amazing. Can you guys hear that? Sorry, if I do this. Is that audible?
Yes, sir. Yeah. That was amazing, sir.
Just give me 1 second. I just have to shut this off for a second. Yep. Hi. Sorry. So again, even though it was hopefully thoda entertainment, the wider point I was trying to make is it was again easier to go from that last thing I had showed you guys to this, which looks a lot more complicated, than it was to go from that first level of doing the spider walk to the second. So things take time. Chalega, if you really love something, stay at it. Whether you make it big, famous, whatever, you love it. Like playing the guitar makes me happier than almost anything in the world, and I really couldn't give a damn if anyone else likes it or not. If people do, great. I'm not denying that's important, but khud ko agar maza aa raha hai, that's more than important. Yeah, I'm pretty much done. Bahut random stuff I have talked. I have no idea if any of it came together and made any sense. Hopefully, it did some of it. But I talked about money. I talked about getting jobs, travel, all of that gyan. But if there's sort of one underlying thing which I would want to convey, or which I believe in at least at the very least, is don't take yourself too seriously. If you can maintain that as an attitude and not take yourself seriously, and I don't mean undermining yourself, it's just have that sense of humor about yourself, make fun of yourself. It's the same reason I'm very adamant about you guys not calling me Mr. Abhinav or Sir. I'm like, nahi, main tum log jaisa hu. I'm not on some pedestal that I need a salutation or I need to be addressed or anything like that. Make fun of yourself, have a sense of humor about yourself, and that solves all your problems. It solves public speaking, it solves being an introvert, it solves talking to people when you travel, and it solves making a fool of yourself following the things you love. So yeah, that's about it. It's a very abrupt conclusion, but that's all I have to say. I'm happy to answer any questions in the unlikely case you guys have them.
So I would like to ask one question. So it is not related to today's webinar.
Abhinav.
Sorry?
Abhinav, not sir. Again.
Okay, so I mean, it is not related to today's webinar, but yeah, I follow you on LinkedIn and you regularly post job musings. So if you could tell something about it, I mean, why did you start it? What was the purpose behind it?
Can I be completely honest?
Yeah.
It was okay. I did feel I have things to say. I know I write well, so wo skill set tha. Very honestly, it's because I see LinkedIn for someone like me who's not like the social media you choose to brand yourself depends on you. For a lot of people, the right place is Instagram. For a lot of people, the right place is Twitter. I felt LinkedIn was the most appropriate for me because I don't photograph myself. I'm not into that. I'm mostly written. I mostly talk about more, not professional things. Even there, so like I write on Facebook about my love for film and music, and I write on LinkedIn about more professional things. And very frankly, the reason I started writing on LinkedIn is I want to monetize some of my knowledge 2 years from now, and LinkedIn is where I see myself getting an audience. So this is just very bluntly, I'm sorry if some of you are my so-called potential customers which I've ruined, but yeah, creating a brand in today's world somewhere or the other is very important. I think everyone should have their own website. I have my own website. I've not fully done it yet. Get a domain name registered in your name if you can, or something else. It's really not expensive. Making a website on Wix, which is a fantastic tool, costs me 25 rupees a month. Do samosa pav kam kar lo, that's it. That is your entire website budget. So I think personal branding online, whether you're an introvert, extrovert, doesn't matter. Just choose your platform because there's a platform for everyone. That's LinkedIn all the way to TikTok. Because if you want to participate in that gig economy, which I talked about, you're going to need clients, customers, whatever you call them. And if you do not have an online presence in ek din you say, हाँ, मैं online course चालू कर रहा हूँ, first response is going to be, but who are you? Why should I listen to you? Whereas for me on LinkedIn, even though it's only been about 3 weeks or 4 weeks I've been writing, already I've had people sort of in your age, college, first year reaching out, hey, really love what you do. I think that's great. So I know a few years later, if I have something genuinely of value, which I want to put out there, these guys know I have a track record of being sensible. So frankly, that's why I write on LinkedIn. पैसे के पीछे भाग रहा हूँ और कुछ नहीं. Anything else? I mean, unlikely, but okay, I guess you can give it a minute and then you guys can wrap up if you want. I'm just checking if I missed something. I just want to also, while you guys please, if you have questions, ask Taptak just to kill a bit of time. I read all your responses. I did not expect them given that I created the Google format like 11:30 last night. So I thought like 3-4 log ka aayega and I got 55, which is ridiculous. But some fantastic answers. Huh? I mean, there's people who want to be, there's one guy who wanted to be prime minister. There's a girl who wanted to be chief minister. I mean, genuinely, I admire that level of ambition. मैं तो कभी इतना सोच नहीं पाता. So many people want to be CEO of the year, investment banker of the year. One person wanted to have their own restaurant chain which was bigger than McDonald's. Fantastic ideas. And at the same time, reading surveys is also incredible fun because of some answers. I'm not naming names, but so many people in the question, which was, what two things scare you? They were like, NA. Dar ke aage jeet hai. These guys are conquered it all. It was just lovely to read, man. So even though I haven't used the survey responses as much as I wanted to, it was a lot of fun for me to read. And just a small question. How can I gain? I'm just reading the chat, guys. Confidence to talk to strangers. I'm scared. So, who is this? Asira, I don't have a straight answer for you, first of all. But again, if I share my own thing, I was the biggest introvert you ever had when I was in school till like 10th, 11th. I literally did not talk to anyone. I know abhi lagta nahi hai, but it was a very big change for me. Sort of 11th, 12th in college. And I think it sort of circles back to what I said about public speaking, right? Is how do I explain this? You identify with groups of people, right? Wherever you go, that's college or work. If you look at the most out of reach group of people, the most popular kids, whatever they may be, हमेशा होता है, and you're like, हाँ, आज आके उनसे बात करूंगा, it's not likely to go well. Let's be honest. You have to go in a logical sequence. You start small, find people with similar interests. The best part about student bodies in HR is that you find like-minded people. Whether you go, there's a club for literally everything, and that's the जो एक चीज नहीं था अभी ये लोग ने चालू कर लिया, so बहाना भी नहीं बचा. So whether you want to be in a student body, go to the council. You want to be in placement cell, sports. I was in the debating society for all 3 years. It's a fantastic place. क्या होता है? You have RCHR, you have ICHR. It's ridiculous. So start small, find like-minded people, talk to one person, dosti banao. And it doesn't have to be complicated, I get this thing again on LinkedIn. People ask me, networking कैसे करते हैं? ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. You talk to someone like, hi, hello, क्या चल रहा है? कल का मैच देखा. That is networking. It's not some fancy professional over the top. All those guys I spoke about in London who are supporting me so much now, that's the conversations I've had. One of those managers is a United fan. I've made fun of him when United lost to Arsenal. That is my networking. He made fun of me when England beat India in the World Cup. That is it. You find like-minded people, you find areas of common interest, and there's always areas of common interest. मैं नहीं मानता कि of all the things you like, no one has any of those interests. Start small, talk to a few people, and then the magic of networking is दोस्त के दोस्त बन जाते हैं. फिर common में कुछ जरूरत नहीं है, वो इंसान आपका common ground बन जाता है. So most of my friends have come that way. I am actually went out and made friends with like 4 लोग in my life maybe. But उनके through 8, 10, 12 आ गए, and now I have a good group of friends. So I don't really have a specific answer, but I think in terms of confidence, you're always on more stable ground when you're talking about what you know, whether it's talking to friends or public speaking. So in terms of confidence, that's all I'll say. Like, start with what you know. Okay, is there anything else, or do you guys?
Okay, so one last question I just
Yeah,
received
please.
in the chat.
I'm completely jobless.
So he's asking that if he ever start a business, his own business, maybe a small business, so how should he attract the clients, maybe domestic clients or internationally? How should he start actually? Initiative.
So there's a few perspectives on this. Again, I don't filter what I say normally, and I'm not going to do that. Number one, I don't know because मैंने किया नहीं है. So first and foremost, I'm probably not the most qualified person to answer that. That being said, because that's something I'm aspiring to do myself, number one, like, you need to have some sort of online presence in the space you want to start your business. So how do I explain this? I'm trying to think of an example. There's actually a guy I've started following on LinkedIn who's great at this. He's अपने उम्र का है. He's from NM, I think, maybe your batch or my batch, whatever, along that. And he's a certified Excel expert, Microsoft Excel. Now, Excel is the most commonly used tool in every field in the world. आपको जरूरत पड़ेगी. And he posts these small 1-minute videos on LinkedIn of Excel tips, how shortcut to add a row, shortcut to delete this, shortcut to get today's date. Seemingly meaningless, but you're like things you use every single day. And I see that every day on my timeline, like, this guy knows his stuff. 3 weeks later, he launched an Excel course. And I've been part of one of his courses. He gets about 100 people a week on his courses. He charges a fairly 200, 400, so he's not trying to be a big deal. But the point is, if he launched that course without those 1-minute videos every day, I would have been like, तुझे क्या आता है? मेरा Excel better होगा. So whatever the field you want to join your business or whatever you want to call it in, create some sort of online presence to show that you know what you're talking about. Because competition is a joke nowadays. You can think you're in the most unique field in the world. वहाँ 800 और लोग already है. So the only way to stand out is to prove you're better. How do you prove you're better? Again, this is a place I don't deny. It helps having tags. If you're from Harvard, automatically लोग सोचेंगे हाँ बंदे को आता है. That is one way which you can do it. In Bombay, HR is a good example. When you guys call up, when you're organizing fests and you want sponsors, saying you're from HR on a call is very different from saying you're, with all due respect, from some local college down the road. So those tags help you, no doubt. But the most personal way to do it, I still think, is creating some sort of a virtual presence to prove your subject knowledge expertise. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm also from APJ. Oh, hi, Alina. Which batch? I mean, I don't know. Like, which year did you finish school? I'm sorry, just someone from my school here in Nerul. School's a great place as well, man. I mean, 2018, so I'm significantly older, unfortunately. But school was such a great opportunity for me because, like I said, I was such an introvert till I was in 10th, 11th. पता नहीं 12th में what happened to my school's principal and vice principal. They had a bit of a brain freeze, I think, and they made me head boy, which made no sense at the time because मेरा कोई जानता नहीं था मैं कौन था. But it was fantastic. I mean, because that forced me. I had to give 15 speeches in the year because I was head boy. Option नहीं था. I couldn't delegate. So it went from a terrible speech on day 1 to like, हाँ ये आराम के बात है on day 15. School is different because those opportunities are fewer and they have to be given to you, those positions or titles or whatever. But college is so free, man. I mean, you can join any club, you can take up responsibility, you can start your own thing. It's the level of freedom. I know it's a little restricted this year because of online and all, but look at these guys, man. They've managed to start a club and have like 100 of these sessions घर पे बैठ के. मैं तो कभी नहीं कर पाता घर पे बैठ के. My technological skills are pathetic. So yeah, and to give the credit to the ECEL guys, not only was this great in the way they communicated with me, now that goes on each of their CVs, and you cannot deny the importance I have. So when one of the most important things in any field, okay, in work especially, that I look for is initiative. So if I get a resume of 2 guys from HR who come to me and you're like, एक का 98 something है, एक का 85 है, okay, both are kind of smart, पता है, एक ज़्यादा smart है. But if the 98, that is the start and the end of their resume, the other way is like, okay, I started this, I tried that. I don't really give a damn if you did well or not, or if you got 5 participants or 10,000. But कोशिश किया, and that makes a massive. And not just to me. Let me tell you, I am, for whatever reason, despite my juniority, I am very involved in the hiring processes of my team at Deloitte. So I speak with my manager, my director, when any resume comes in, we talk about it, and that's what we look for. We're like, ठीक है, कोई college किया होगा, कुछ BCom, BAF, engineering. We don't really. That's like 5 seconds of the problem. Then we're like, अच्छा, okay, that's pretty cool. अच्छा वो चालू किया, अच्छा यहाँ volunteer किया. it's you want people who are interesting at the end of the day, because when you're spending 10 hours with someone in the office, वो काम भी अच्छा करे. If they're boring people, you are be like नहीं चाहिए यार. So you want interesting people, you want people with initiative. So as long as you have that, you're going to be fine. Yeah, that's it. बहुत बात करता हूँ ना. I'm sorry about that. It's just a bad habit of mine. I think
I don't think we have more questions. We can.
So finally, just for mind, I know you guys will do the formal thing where you call me Mr. Abhinav and thank me. But just before that, a big shout out and thanks to the ESL. First, for existing in the first place, for coming up with this concept. I remember I saw the LinkedIn post when you guys formally launched or whatever a few months ago, and I was like, that's so cool. And I wrote on the post also, I feel. So fantastic initiative. I love this series. I think you've done multiple series, and that's great as well. Thanks also to Darshana, who was my main point of contact, who made my life very easy, and all my stupid errors. She's like, हाँ कर लो. That was great. So if you guys are promoting someone, usko please कर लो. You have my strongest recommendation. And yeah, thank you to everyone. I know weekends, there's plenty of content on Netflix to watch. But the fact that you guys spent, I've gone well over my time, and I'm sorry about that. But the fact that you guys took out your time to speak to me, that means a lot. And if any of you want to talk to me about anything, reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's like ma'am said, like college always holds a special place for me. So if I ever get an invite from HR college, naam kuch dekhta nahi, it's accept straight away. So feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you ever want to talk about anything.
Someone in the chat box just wrote that they want more sessions with you.
अगले बार पैसे
We want guitar sessions.
वो भी कर लेंगे यार. That's again one of my monetizing idea. वो गिटार कोर्स बेचना है, उसके लिए पहले खुद have to learn a little more. But yeah, guitar is a fantastic instrument. Sorry, I'm going off of it. सीखना है अभी चालू करो. I started playing when I was 19. Cool, I'm done. Sorry.
Given a chance, we continue the session, but we have time constraints. Otherwise, we would love to listen.
Next time we'll be having a book wala session and guitar ka only, especially.
That'll be good.
Okay, like due to some time constraints, we need to formally end that session now. So I just thank you. So I would like to thank Mr. Abhinav for taking the precious time out and sharing such valuable strategies and deep insights that will help us in our journey. Also would like to thank Pooja ma'am, Naveen sir, Amit sir, and the students of course, because even you guys have removed your time and joined this wonderful session. I hope everyone enjoyed it. We hope that our alumni journey inspired you, and all the valuable information will help you in overcoming your entrepreneurial roadblocks and achieve success. Also Abhinav, I mean, I'm not supposed to call you sir, right? Abhinav, we would love to receive the recommendation list. Okay, next soon.
थोड़ा सोचना पड़ेगा, but I'll come up with something.
Yes, and someone in the chat is asking that please share the list of books you have collected.
Yeah, so, there's a lot of books, a lot of incredible travel shows also which I watch on Netflix, and movies, and there's just so much lovely stuff. It's genuinely nice things, and if you're interested, I make a proper.
You should start a virtual library. We do have Resa College virtual library. You can just give the list and we'll put it there.
Definitely, I'll definitely make a proper list and I'll send it across to you.
Thank you so much. All the students to kindly fill in the feedback, which will be posted in the chat box and the WhatsApp group as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you so much, everyone.
It's lovely. You can just end it. Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.